Hi everybody, what's up? My name is Juan. I am just one reader and I am here with my January wrap up, which is going to be just a very quick overview of everything that I read in January, and then I'm going to give you my TBR for February. So, January was a very satisfying, very productive month. I read a lot of books and most of them were really satisfying and I really enjoyed them. So I have posted separate reviews for many of these and I have done recent reads including these books, except the last one that I read in January, but I will be including that in the next recent reads. So I'm just gonna mention the books very quickly. First, I read The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I did not enjoy this. I thought it was very trashy and I gave it like 3 stars. Then I read Fingersmith by Sarah Waters, which was just such a complete fun ride. I loved it. I still think about the writing and how clever it was, and I gave it 4.5 stars. Then I read The Railway Children by E. Nesbitt. I gave this 3 stars, but more like a 3.5 stars really. It was very satisfying. It was kind of sweet and sour at the same time and really bitter. Then I finally finished It by Stephen King. I gave this 4 stars in the end. I thought it was a remarkable novel, one of my favorite things by this author that I've read, and yeah, very satisfying. It was quite a time-consuming enterprise. I will be, I'm not gonna say that it wasn't, but it was totally worth it. Then I read The Sign of 4, which is the second Sherlock Holmes novel by Arthur Conan Doyle, and I gave it I think 3.5 stars, something like that. Really enjoyable, a little bit too complicated. I am not a very smart person for, figuring out these mysteries. I find them very complicated, but, even though I was a little bit lost, I still highly enjoyed it. Then I read The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry. I gave this 4.5 stars. Loved it. It was such a cozy, elegantly written, beautiful, character-driven novel. I raved about this in my separate review. Then I read The Sense of an Ending by Julian Barnes, which was absolute perfection. This was a modern literary fiction masterpiece. It's exactly the type of thing that I want and that I like to read. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. Best book I've read so far, even though the year is very young, but this is going to be very difficult to top. Then I read The End, which is the last book in a series of unfortunate events by Lemony Snicket, aka Daniel Handler, and I thought it was a very good ending to the series. Overall, I give it 3 stars. And finally, the one book that I haven't mentioned in my recent reads is also a part of a series of unfortunate events in a way. This is kind of a supplementary material, which is the Beatrice Letters. And it's actually a very fun book to read. It's actually a collection of letters from Beatrice Baudelaire to Lemony Snicket, and it's kind of their correspondence. I will talk more in depth about this in my next recent reads, but I enjoyed it quite a lot and I gave it 3 stars. Moving on to my February TBR, I have 2 collections that I started in January and that I am almost done with, so my first priority is to finish these. This one is Civil Warland in Bad Decline, a collection of stories and a novella by George Saunders. I am highly enjoying this. And the other one is Full Dark, No Stars. This is a collection of novellas, not short stories, actually novellas by Stephen King. Incredibly well written and incredibly enjoyable. Actually, I am really surprised about how much I am actually liking this. Then in February, I only have 5 books that I want to read, but they are kind of long, and I don't know why I think they're going to be time-consuming. First up is Donna Tartt's The Secret History. I kind of already read this like 3 years ago. I read it in Spanish and the translation was good enough, but I just never fully loved the experience of reading that book in Spanish. So I'm gonna give it a try in the original English, and it's great because I actually forgot what this book is about. So I'm really excited to read it again and fully like get into it. Then I have The Trouble with Goats and Sheep by Joanna Cannon. This sounds like a very cozy, British, nice story, very enjoyable. I have heard great things by people that I really trust, so yeah. Then I have a collection of short stories, and this is by Karen Russell, who is a writer that I really admire, and I really want to get more into her stuff because I read her novel Swamplandia a couple of years ago, and it absolutely blew me out of my mind. And this is one of her collections of stories, and this is actually like her best regarded, most popular collections. This is St. Lucy's Home for Girls Raised by Wolves. Next, I have The Dragonfly Pool by Eva Ibbotson. Eva Ibbotson is a writer of middle grade and young adult fiction, but really high quality fiction in that genre. So yeah, I just want to read something that is charming and fun and light and just have a joyous experience. And finally, my most anticipated slash most intimidating book that I have tried to read in quite a long time. It's finally time for me to try 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. This is my beautiful illustrated new original Spanish edition. This is incredibly beautifully illustrated by Luisa Rivera. It's a beautiful, beautiful edition, and I finally need to try this. So that was it for today. That was my January wrap-up and February TBR. I am looking forward to reading your comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. I am Just One Reader.